everybody, it's Christine. It's time for a Scraplift Crafternoon. And my apologies, I should have had this ready, but here is the layout we're scrap lifting, and we will have a link below. I do not remember. I'm so sorry. I guess her name's on here. She's got a blog. It looks like she's maybe out of Canada. Les Scrapbook Cindy. We'll have a link below. Anyways, this is so pretty. So she took like ink or paint or something and smushed it, you know, in these stripes. And then she has these frames on either side that she kind of embellished on these sides here. And then the pictures in the middle with a big swishy paint behind with a bunch of embellishments. So now she's technically used a pattern background. So I'm going to have to look at this because what I'd like to use, so here's what I have to work with. I've decided to use this picture of my mom and my bonus dad. And I like it because it's real colorful, was one of the reasons I picked it. And I'll talk about the picture when I'm doing the voiceover. But I thought it would look good with this January 2023 hip kit. And y'all, I'm breaking a rule that I've made for myself. It's not a rule. It's a guideline. It's a guideline. But I'm trying to use older stuff before I use newer stuff. But this I thought was just too cute. I love like this. I don't think this is going to work though. But I don't know. Let me play. I'm going to have to play with it. I'm going to have to get in there. Because then I pulled out these inks. And I'm thinking I'm going to use these 3 inks as the swishies. I guess it would really be like this. And then she also had, I didn't point this out, she has little stamped leaves in here. See that? And so I've grabbed this star stamp. I thought this could be neat. It's out of a little set. And I can't decide on the blues though, because I was testing them on the back of this. I pulled out stash stuff too, y'all, because I don't have frames. I don't think there's frames in this. I say that. There's something there. I'll have to look. But I like these little wood frames. They're too small in some ways, but I might can group them. You know, I might can do something cool. But the blues, I'm not certain. I have a navy blue here, and then I have this broken china here. And I have not decided which, if any. I might end up going with a black because she used brown on top of her 3 colors. So I don't know if I'm going to use blue. I'm not sure. I haven't decided, y'all. This is what happens. I have to think about things and start doing things. So that is what we're starting with. Let me get these papers out. I might pop back in a second once I pick some. And we'll get going. All right, talk soon. Well, gang, I had to shrink my picture. This is the paper I've chosen, by the way. It has a slight, she had a look like a black and white patterny, like a real tiny, tiny pattern. So I thought this might work. But I realized I started doing this. And first off, I don't have a frame 1 of any kind that would fit over any of that. So that was problem number 1. And then I started kind of looking, and I'm like, you know, hold on just a second. Her picture, she might have cut it down from a 4x6, but it's definitely smaller in scale because the squishy stuff kind of comes from like here to here, and then the embellishment. And I'm going to end up using up all that. So this is, I feel like it's kind of in between in a sense, but this I think is going to work better just because, again, I can probably find a frame. I keep pulling this one out. I don't have to. It could be one like this or something. But, I mean, I could do something cute like that. And the other one's just entirely too big. So, I'm switching sizes on my pictures. I'll make this for my mama some kind of way, I think. Hadn't figured that out yet. But that is going to be what I'm starting with. And I started to pull out of the papers, and I don't think I'm going to do that either because, well, there's no reason to. If I end up matting this for any kind of way, which I might, I'll probably pull some scraps out. So, my next step here is I'm going to do my squishies. So I'm going to put you on camera while I do that, and we'll start embellishing and all the things. All right, talk soon. Oh my gosh, you guys. I love how this layout turned out. I can't even get over it. So, no haters, please. So the first thing I did is I took my piece of paper that I mentioned, and I've taken my ink, and you can see I'm just kind of taking it and squishing it. I think now that I've looked at her layout and looked at mine, I'm almost certain she probably used paint or something. If there's a YouTube video, I haven't seen the link, so apologies if I should have watched it, but I feel like because the way her stripes kind of ended up, I feel like they might have been actually paint swatches, but I am not even sad. So what I ended up doing, I took them and just kind of did a normal little stripe up and down, and then I took and you can kind of see I'm just kind of swirling them around a little bit and kind of extending my stuff a little. I think that looks cool. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to do some sprinkles. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you and tell you this blue did not go as planned. I was trying to keep it, you'll see in a second, I was trying to keep it around the blue. And y'all, that stuff just splattered all over the place. I think my paintbrush must have had a wonk in it or something because it sure as crap went everywhere. But that's okay. it's okay. It turned out real pretty. So I take each of the 3 colors, and like I said, I kind of tried to stick around the stripe. It was, but inevitably some kind of flickered around here and there, although the red and yellow kind of behaved nicely and stayed about where they were supposed to. It was the blue that got a little wonky on me. I don't know why he did do that, but in the end, I think it looks really neat, so I'm not even sad. Okay, so basically, yeah, I'm just doing all 3 colors. I probably didn't have to show y'all that, but it is what it is. So yeah, so I'm going to clean this mess up. What do I do next, y'all? I keep testing that to see where my size is and why, I don't know. So next I'm going to take, I think the little wood, y'all, my apologies. My husband's working from home, and he's got the music going in there, and he just sneezed real loud, so y'all just ignore all that, or you can just imagine my husband in the other room, whichever. So what I did decide to do with this picture is I kind of showed y'all during one little intro there, that little pink frame. And I think that looks kind of cute on top of it. She used like a little wooden frame, and her frame was basically enclosed the whole photo. But I didn't have anything big enough, and I didn't want to make anything, so I ended up just kind of tilting that pink one on there. And then my little wood frames were smaller than hers, so I ended up putting 2 in each little section. And I think that looks neat, and I'm not even sad because I've had these for a little while, probably a good year or so. And I thought, well, this is a good way to use up a couple of them. I still have a round one and one little square piece that says Fabulous or something of this little set. But I've used quite a bit of it. So that's how that's going to kind of be the base of my layout at this point. Now, I realized, well, first off, I need to put this little pink frame. I decided to put it up on foam and lift it up on top of the photo. I think that looks kind of neat. It gives a little shadow line. I don't really cover up anything important, just kind of the bottom of their legs, you know, and, well, I guess just, you know, you can see it when you see it, but I don't cover up really anything all that important. I'm just kind of framing them out anyways. Because the story behind the picture is we were in Branson, so I kind of thought to myself, I made this comment not too long ago, we keep going on vacations, and I take all these pictures, and I hadn't finished scrapping a one. So I thought, you know, I need to get in my Branson stuff, and plus the colors, I kind of wanted to use these bright colors, and I don't know what made me think of it. I thought, oh, I think I got that picture, so I found this little picture. So basically, we were on this little trip. And every time we go on a trip, we find us a nutrition club because we love our teas. Y'all, if you've watched any of my videos recently, you know we love these I shouldn't say darn teas. They're good teas. They're energy teas with, like, you know, herbal tea, and there's a vitamin caffeine deal in there. We just love them. So we end up at a club somewhere. If there is one nearby, we're going to find one. And I say we, and my mama is just as big a fan. She really is. She has that stuff at home too, and she has an entire little mini store in her house. So we do definitely find us a little club. And this was the little club we found in Branson, and it had a cute little picture wall. And so they had stood in front of it to take their little picture. And you can see my mama's grin is so big. And my bonus dad, he's probably wandering. He's out of, who knows what he's looking at. You know how men are. He's looking off to the side. So I've got my little frame, and then I glued my picture down. And now I mentioned this, taking this star stamp, and I decided to use gray. The blues just weren't going to look right to me. I didn't feel like they were going to do the layout justice. So I end up with a gray, and I love it. I think it looks great. So I did make y'all sit and watch me stamp all those stripes there. And now I've pulled out all this ephemera. So on her layout, I kind of went back and looked, and I went off on a tangent just a little bit. I know she had kind of clusters, like big clusters to the outside on the outside stripes, and then a top and bottom basically on the middle. But I just went and had a friggin' ephemera sneeze, y'all. I went all over. I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I just went all over these. To be fair, because I had 2 picture frames, I felt like I kind of needed to tie them together. So I'm just kind of going through. I have gone through the ephemera. I also had a couple of other Hip Kit Clubs kits from previous months that had similar color palettes. That's kind of neat about the club as well. They'll have this real soft palette that they'll send, and then some months will come and it'll be these really bright colors, but they inevitably work together. So I was really pleased with that. So I pulled out basically all these ephemeras that I could find that kind of went together. Most of them is from the kit I just got, which I showed y'all at the beginning, but there was some that came from other kits, and I have just pulled all the things. So I've got flowers. Honestly, there's a lot to look at. I mean, this will take a few minutes for somebody to really examine if they wanted to. So I'll tell you a couple of my favorite parts, though. So there's a little tea bag deal that says, "A cup of tea solves everything," which is on the upper left over there with by the flowers. There's a couple of little birds. There's a little blue and pink bird, which I think is cute because it kind of made me think of them. I like the title. So my title ended up being "You Light Up My World." And it's a little bit of a double entendre there because one of them is kind of talking about them to each other, you know, because they're sweethearts. And so I'm saying, you know, they light each other's world up or whatever. But then also these darn teas, right, that we just love. So I'm kind of alluding to those teas too. So it's kind of both. On the right-hand side over there, I've got a little card, and it says feeling all the feels. And I'm kind of imagining, you know, the little smiling face in the upper left of that little square there. And then there's a little thing I've got that says life is hard, caffeine helps. That technically has a little picture of a coffee deal on there, but I'm imagining it's these teas as well. The little phone says this. I put the little shoe on there, no real good reason, except I thought it was cute. There's another little bird up at the top. The TV doesn't mean a darn thing. It's just got a rainbow in it, and I thought it went with the colored stripes. There is a little circle that says let's go on adventure, and that's because we're kind of on a road trip. And then there's a little camera down at the bottom. Y'all, I mean, like I said, you could spend 10 minutes looking at this layout, and there's all kinds of fun little goodies tucked in here and everywhere. I don't show it just yet. I do have I'll tell you in a minute. So there's a couple of hearts. One says happy, one says the story. And I'll get off into my little chipboard words in a second. You can see them on the right-hand side. And I find a couple of words, and I was so excited to see this. One of them says this happens all the time, because like I said, we go all the time. But then there was another little chipboard thing that says you're terrific. And then there was one that said, your positivity. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so meant to go together. I was just like, wow. And then I got into this little 2022. I think that actually came from a January last year. But I thought that was kind of good because the trip was 2022. And then I find little puffy hearts right here. And I'm just going to kind of pick one from each. It's kind of the same colors, you know, and I just kind of put one from, like the little reddish one, I put on the yellow stripe, and then I put kind of the bluish one on the blue, and then I put the yellow on the reddish stripe. So I just kind of give it opposites. But I think this is so stinking cute. I don't know why these types of layouts, I just love them. I love these types. I love grid types. Anything that has like a lot of things to kind of look at, but still has a clear design. I fall in love with them every time. So that is all I'm going to do this layout, y'all. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did mount the white on top of a like tealish or like turquoisey cardstock. I just needed to frame it in a little bit, and I forgot to mention that. So there's the slowdown. You can see, oh my gosh, all the things. I will post this on Instagram, so if you want to go and kind of look at that and see how much is going on there, then make sure you check out my Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do make sure you check out the playlist because the ladies always interpret this layout. And I can't wait to see how everybody does anything with this because this was so fun, such a gorgeous layout. And I'm just excited to see it. So don't forget to do that and check out the original as well. We'll see you next time. Bye.